The king of a great land died, leaving his queen alone to raise their only daughter, a princess of extraordinary beauty. The queen loved her fiercely, as did a good fairy who had watched over the girl since birth. When the princess came of age, she was betrothed to a prince in a distant kingdom. As the wedding day approached, the queen prepared her daughter's dowry: jewels, gold, silver, fine dresses, everything befitting a royal bride. She also gave her a waiting maid to accompany her on the journey and provided each with a horse. The princess's mount was a gift from the fairy herself, a remarkable creature named Falada, who possessed the power of speech. On the morning of departure, the fairy entered the princess's chamber. She took a small knife, cut a lock of her own hair, and pressed it into the girl's hand.
Guard this carefully, my dear. It is a charm that may prove useful on the road ahead.
The princess tucked the lock of hair into her bodice, embraced her weeping mother, and mounted Falada. Then the small party set out toward her bridegroom's kingdom, leaving everything she had ever known behind. They had been riding for some time when the princess grew thirsty. Spotting a clear brook, she turned to her maid.
Please get me some water in my golden cup.
Get it yourself. I'm not your servant anymore.
The princess was shocked by this sudden cruelty, but her thirst was overwhelming. Frightened and confused, she dismounted, knelt by the brook, and drank from her cupped hands, not daring to use her golden cup.
Alas, what will become of me?
But the princess was gentle by nature. She said nothing of her maid's behavior, climbed back onto Falada, and they continued their journey. The day grew hot. The sun beat down mercilessly, and the princess's thirst returned, more intense than before. When they reached a river, she forgot the earlier insult and asked again.
Please fetch me some water in my golden cup.
Drink if you must, but I am no longer your waiting maid.
Once again, the princess dismounted. She knelt by the rushing water, pressed her lips to the stream, and wept. But as the princess leaned over the water, the lock of hair slipped from her bodice and was swept away by the current. She was too distraught to notice its loss. But the maid saw everything. The maid's eyes gleamed with malicious triumph. She knew the power of the fairy's charm, and now that it was gone, the princess was defenseless.
You'll take my horse.
The princess, weak and powerless, had no choice but to obey. Then the maid made her strip off her royal garments and put on the servant's shabby clothes. As they neared the prince's kingdom, the treacherous woman leaned close and hissed a final threat.
You must stay silent about what happened. Do you understand?
The princess nodded, silent and terrified. But Falada, the faithful horse, saw everything and remembered. When they arrived at the royal court, there was great celebration. The prince rushed forward to greet his bride, lifting the maid from Falada's back, believing her to be his betrothed. She was escorted to the royal chambers with honors and ceremony. The true princess was left standing in the courtyard, dismissed as a mere servant. The old king happened to be sitting at his window, watching the arrival. He noticed the girl in shabby clothes standing alone below, and was struck by something about her. Despite her plain dress, there was a delicacy to her features, a grace that seemed out of place for a common servant. Curious, he went to question the false bride.
Who is the girl in the courtyard?
Just someone who traveled with me. Give her some work.
I have a boy who tends my geese. She can assist him.
The boy's name was Curdkin, and so the true princess, now stripped of everything, was sent to work as a Goose-Girl. That evening, the false bride approached her new husband with a request.
Dear husband, will you grant me one favor?
Of course. Anything.
The horse I rode here was troublesome and unruly. Have your slaughterer cut off its head.
The truth was darker. She feared that Falada might speak and reveal her treachery. The order was given. The faithful horse would die. When the true princess heard this, she wept bitterly. But she made one quiet request of the slaughterer.
Please, place him above the city gate, where I pass each day.
The man, moved by her sorrow, agreed. He struck off Falada's head and mounted it above the gate, where it would watch all who passed below. The next morning, the princess and Curdken drove their flock of geese through the dark gate. As she passed beneath Falada's head, she looked up with grief and whispered,
Falada, there you hang.
And the head answered,
Bride, if your mother knew, she'd grieve.
Curdken heard nothing strange in this. To him, it seemed the ramblings of a peculiar girl. Once they reached the grazing field, the princess sat down on the grass and unpinned her hair. It fell in long, shimmering waves, silver as moonlight, glittering like precious metal in the sun. Curdken saw it and was mesmerized. He reached out to touch it, but the princess quickly sang out,
Breezes, take his hat and send him chasing.
At once, a powerful wind rose from nowhere, snatched Curdken's hat from his head, and sent it tumbling across the hills. He had no choice but to chase after it, cursing and stumbling, while the princess quickly braided her hair and pinned it back up.
By the time he returned, red-faced and furious, her hair was hidden again. He glared at her in sullen silence for the rest of the day. The next morning, the same events unfolded. As they passed through the gate, the princess looked up at Falada's head.
Falada, there you hang.
Bride, if your mother knew, she'd grieve.
And when they reached the meadow, she once again let down her hair. Once again, Curdken tried to seize it. Once again, she called the wind.
Take his hat and send him chasing.
And his hat went flying across the countryside. By evening, Curdken had had enough. That night, Curdken went to the old king, his patience exhausted.
I cannot work with that strange girl any longer.
Why not?
She torments me. Each morning she talks to that horse's head, and it answers her. Then in the meadow she lets down her silver hair, and when I reach for it, she summons wind to steal my hat and send me running.
Go out with her again tomorrow. I will see this for myself.
The following morning, the old king concealed himself behind the dark gate. When the princess and Curdken passed through with their flock, he heard her speak.
Falada, there you hang.
Bride, if your mother knew, she'd grieve.
The king's eyes widened. He followed them at a distance to the meadow, hiding himself in the bushes. There he watched as the girl sat down and unpinned her hair. Hair like liquid silver, cascading down her back.
Take his hat and send
He heard her
him
sing her strange
chasing.
command and witnessed the wind rise from nowhere to snatch Curdken's hat and send it flying. The old king had seen enough. That evening, he summoned the Goose-Girl to his chambers. When she arrived, still in her shabby clothes, he spoke to her gently.
Tell me, why do you speak to a dead horse? Why does the wind obey you?
I cannot tell you. I cannot tell anyone, or I will lose my life.
But the old king was patient and kind. He pressed her gently again and again, until at last her resolve crumbled. And she told him everything: the journey, the betrayal, the loss of the charm, the stolen identity, the threats, Falada's murder. Every word of it. When she finished, the old king stared at her in wonder and fury.
Bring out the royal
He immediately
garments.
ordered royal garments to be brought, and when she was dressed in silks and jewels once more, her true beauty shone forth, radiant.
You've been deceived. The woman in your chambers is a maid who stole her mistress's place.
The young prince looked at the Goose-Girl and saw her for the first time. His heart filled with both shame and wonder. Her beauty was breathtaking, yes, but more than that. Her quiet dignity, her patience through suffering, her strength despite cruelty. Without revealing anything to the false bride, the king ordered a great feast. The banquet hall was filled with nobles and courtiers. At the head of the table sat the prince, with the false bride on one side and the true princess, now restored to her rightful appearance, on the other. No one recognized her. They saw only a stunning stranger, radiating elegance and grace. When the meal was finished and wine had loosened tongues, the old king stood and spoke.
I wish to tell you all a story, a tale I once heard. Let us see what judgment you would pass.
And he told them everything. The journey, the betrayal, the usurpation, every detail of the crime committed against the true bride. When he finished, he turned to the false bride and asked,
What punishment, in your wisdom, should befall someone who would commit such treachery?
Nothing less than this. She should suffer a harsh punishment and be paraded through the streets.
The hall fell silent.
Thou art she, and as you have judged yourself, so shall it be done.
The false bride's face went white. She opened her mouth to protest, but guards seized her and dragged her away, her screams echoing through the stone corridors. Justice, brutal and final, was carried out. The prince married his true bride at last, and they ruled their kingdom with wisdom and compassion for many years. And the good fairy, who had watched over the princess since birth, returned to restore Falada to life. The faithful horse, who had seen everything and remembered all, lived out his days in peace. The princess never forgot what she had endured. She never forgot that beauty and birthright are fragile things, easily stolen, easily lost. But she also learned that truth has a voice that cannot be silenced forever. Even the dead will speak, if the living will not.